All right, everyone. The New York Times editorial board decided that they wanted to do their endorsements, I guess, ahead of Iowa, and it's so cringe what they've arrived at. They've decided to do a co-endorsement. That is, they're endorsing two different people. Guess which people they decided to endorse? Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar. That is, two, individuals with weird campaign ideas, so basically, Bernie Sanders, only female and a grifter, which is Elizabeth Warren, and Amy Klobuchar for reasons that I can barely even comprehend. She's running at 3% in the polls. Yang has leapfrogged ahead of her, so she's in 6th or 7th place, depending on which poll you look at. She's got no chance, in my mind, I believe, of even coming in 3rd in Iowa or New Hampshire. She's going to have to drop out probably before Super Tuesday. There's no reason for her to remain in the field. The fact that she's even able to operate on the budget she's got at this point is a testament to, I suppose, stubbornness more than anything. Have you looked at the Cringe compilations of Amy Klobuchar? Just saying, she's not the sort of person you want to put up in front of Donald Trump, because she's going to look like a snickety school teacher. She's going to look like that school teacher who thinks that she's sort of hip and with it and is making funny, wisecracks, but actually just comes off as really outdated and sort of a champagne sipper, basically. No, I don't think that'd work against Trump. And as far as Elizabeth Warren had her shot. She was, for a single day, the front runner. She's the only person who's managed to do this, by the way, against Joe Biden. Bernie Sanders has never led in any poll and has consistently been in a distant second, occasionally a distant third. Elizabeth Warren peaked months ago. She had a hard peak at roughly Biden's level and since then has lost double digits of support. She has stabilized for the last month at the mediocre, distant third place showing she's in. At this point, it would be difficult for her to crack into the top 3 in Nevada because Buttigieg, I believe, still edges her. So you've got Biden, Sanders, and Buttigieg there. She probably will come in 3rd in the first 2 states. That gives her enough staying power and delegates to stay in it, but it doesn't give her viability. If at the end of Super Tuesday, you've got a tale of 2 candidates having collectively won every state or nearly every state, and I suspect that would be Biden and Sanders, there's no longer any viability for Warren. The only reason at that point she would stay in the race is if she basically wants Joe Biden to get in because she's been promised something and she's working for him to stymie the far-left vote from congealing, or if she's just being an asshole. She's just staying in to get a few delegates here and there so that in a close convention that's contested, she could maybe play kingmaker. That's the only other reason she'd stay in at that point after Super Tuesday, assuming that that's the scenario. And that's the scenario I suspect will be the case. I suspect Warren won't even get 2nd place in any of the first 4 states. At that point, after the first 4 states, everyone other than the top 5 should drop out. Bloomberg and Buttigieg get in because they're in the realm of viability above 5%. Everyone else should be forced out. The Democrats should impose a rule about that. After South Carolina and Nevada have voted, the top 5 candidates, if there are 5 candidates, are in. Everybody else loses the blessing of the party and is stripped of their delegates. You will not be nominated. That's what they should do. Get more fucking draconian, because it's becoming a circus. The Republicans had their own problems with a crowded field, but by and large, when it became clear that a candidate couldn't win, that it was impossible for them to possibly continue under any reasonable assumption of the trajectory of the race, most of them at that point dropped out. Kasich was really the outlier. He stayed in stubbornly till the end. For no reason other than the fact that I guess he wanted to use his campaign funds for cheap pizza and be able to swallow it on the campaign trail and talk through a mouthful of greasy, low-budget cheese. That's basically why he stayed in. Really, there was no reason for anyone other than Ted Cruz to stay in towards the end, but Rubio decided to stick a hold. He's, I'm going to stay in and get a few more delegates. Maybe Donald Trump will give me a compliment when he's inevitably the nominee. The Democratic field, though, it still contains, 14 people? Most of which have never been viable. Did you see Steyer the other day and how funny he was dancing around at MLK Day? And it looked like he said hi to Bernie, and Bernie basically brushed him off and said he didn't want to talk to him, I guess. Oh my God. And then Bernie Sanders. It's funny because everyone else is dancing and they're like jiving to the Martin Luther King Day, yearly ritual bullshit. and stairs dancing. Like, he finds it funny, but Bernie Sanders, he just stands there. And then he starts moving just a little bit with the beat, and then he stops himself and looks over the camera. It's like, he's almost 80 years old, so you can't really blame him. But, I mean, he's a stick in the mud. He's not a very funny guy. That's, by the way, another reason why Bernie Sanders would lose against Donald Trump. Literally nothing more than the fact that he never cracks a smile. Hate to say, it's funny because nobody's asking him why he doesn't smile more. I would point that out. They asked Elizabeth Warren that, and Elizabeth Warren said some stupid shit about the fact that she'd smile if things were going better. Yeah, you lost in 2016. Of course you're pissed off. But for the New York Times to endorse two people that I don't think really at this point have a possibility of winning, I think they're just trying to be woke. I think this is just to get readers. They know that the left in general likes the New York Times. I guess this is a reach out to the female-centric voting bloc, like the "we will not vote for anyone who doesn't have no Y chromosome" voting situation, which appears to be, at this point, maybe 5-10% of Democrats. They don't want a male candidate, and a lot of them don't want a white candidate, and because it's likely to be a white male candidate. It's very funny. You look at the top of the field. Everyone there is white. All 6 of them are white. 4 of them are male. 7 of them are on the old side. 4 of them are elderly. So, demographically speaking, the Democrats have a perception issue. They have an optics fail going on right now because they try to be the woke, diverse, progressive, Yas Queen Slay, gay okay sort of party, like Trump is sexist and racist and homophobic supposedly, and they're trying to contrast with him. But the problem is that they keep trying to appease the social justice warriors who think that the candidate should have pink hair and be a trans amputee. So it's not going to work. It wouldn't matter. If Buttigieg right now were to get gender reassignment surgery, he wouldn't be proper for some of these people. They'd still find something to bitch about. It's something like 5-10% of Democrats would still say, well, he's not woke enough. He's not woke enough because, he doesn't have enough black voters or something. The identity politics of the Democratic Party have gone off the fucking rails. That's about all. Peace out.